Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I am Connor Worms. I'm joined by Cal Brannan, and we'll be discussing the post-match reaction to the game that is just finished. There is the sit-in still going on as well, I believe. Cal, give us your thoughts, mate, on the game.
I thought it was quite a good performance, second half especially. It's just the same old little problems seem to be popping up, and I clearly think there's some things that show that it's not just a managerial issue; it's an issue with the personnel. We need a player who can thread that final ball in. That's no disrespect to someone like Decore, who I did think played all right, but I think we just need that player who can thread that final ball in, who can link midfield to attack in a sort of way. I think the set pieces need to be fixed. Letting the smallest player on the pitch, Scott, no matter how good the header was, letting this I think he's the smallest player on the pitch at that time.
He's about 5'8", isn't he?
Yeah, score a looping header over us, and I just think also Gordon has to start. Gordon has to start almost every game. I see flashy up, but I'm worried now. I personally am not too worried, to be honest with you. I think if we play against, is it an international break now?
Yeah, I don't think Duncan Ferguson's going to be in charge, but when we come back around,
I think he should be.
I don't think he will, though. I think they're going to find.
I think unless we can get Rooney, that's it. Do not take Frank Lampard.
I don't want Lampard.
Give it to Duncan Ferguson.
I'd like Kovac.
Yeah, Kovac. What? James said Kovac don't want to jump till the end of the season, though, apparently.
Give it Dunk till the end of the season.
That's it. I'm coming on here and I'm not going to be negative because I think the positives outweighed the negatives. I just think in front of goal we could have been better. I think Anthony Gordon has to start. I think it's not even controversial now to say Anthony Gordon's our best player.
Yeah, he's
that good.
He's certainly seen him in great. I will say this. I do agree with Flash in the way that if we don't beat Newcastle, I'm not that we've gone, but I am worried then if we don't beat Newcastle because Norwich and Newcastle are teams.
I think we will because I think the passion's there now. The one thing we were saying have that Goodison was rocking. I think it was. I think the fans really got behind everyone. Even Andre Gomez got applauded when he went off the pitch.
I didn't think he was that good of a game either.
No, I don't think he was very good, but I don't think he was awful at the same time. I think the problem is we did get overrun in midfield, and I think Gomez, you need two people next to him to get the best out of him. I think Alan was really good when he came on. I think Alan had a really good game on. I think there's a lot of players you can look at and go, you were good, you were good, you were good. I think Pickford, in my opinion, that's one of the saves of the season if that's not offside.
Yeah.
No goalkeeper has a right to save that. That was ridiculous.
It was an unreal save that. It almost looked like he was devastated to find out it was off.
Yeah, I think he was, and I don't blame him, But I think going into the Newcastle game, I think we need to go and sign a number 10 on loan permanently. I don't know, but we need a number 10. And I think the talk that we're going down, I think it's ridiculous, to be honest with you. I think I understand people panicking because we've lost again and we've lost to Steven Gerrard. Yeah, I think it's just overreacting, isn't it? And it is unnecessary because, I think from what we've seen, if we can do that to Newcastle and do that to Burnley, then I think with the panicking has to start after those two games. If we lose to Newcastle, panic. That's it. I think then panic stations have to come on. But we lost 1-0 mainly because we were unlucky. I think we were unlucky. I think we really should have scored, and I think that has to be on the players. Why is the talk about going down ridiculous? Look at our form, because it is like every team has bad run of forms, but it's like Semi puts here, the actual play is getting it to the final third, and I think it is. It's Dunk's first game, we're going in against a good Aston Villa side on good form that have played well ever since he came in, and we were arguably the better side. And got a look. So if you're saying, look at our form, we're crap, we're this, we're that, but we can contend with a team that's currently 10th in the league, we can draw against a team that was in a title race. I understand the panic about form, but I just think going all in and saying that's it, we're down, game over, season over, I think it is just. I think he's taking it a bit too far, personally. I think the idea. I think. Listen, if you put this, Will, if you put that after the Newcastle game and we lose, I'll put my hands up and say you were right, I were wrong. But it's just this idea. Personally, I said this to you, Connor. I think our fans are way too negative, and saying we'll get beat by Newcastle, and we might, and then after that, it is time to panic. It's time to probably have a look at things and say, right, we need to fix this now. But after a competitive game where we really looked like we could have taken something, saying that's it, we're relegated, it is taking it too far. Because to put it simply, Norwich were relegated, weren't they?
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Norwich were relegated, and they're not in the relegation zone anymore, are they?
No, I think the frustration. I mean, Newcastle now isn't very much. If we lose against Newcastle, then I am a bit concerned.
Then it's completely justified. Then the panic is completely justified.
But I can get where the frustration stems from, because I was saying this to my dad. We're like 3 points off Norwich, who, like you said, we're done with 5 points off the drop. In entering the zone. Even if we finish and we don't get relegated and we finish where we are now, 16th, 2 places above, I completely understand the frustration of fans, because that's not good enough. Never in a million years is that 500 odd million, 6 managers or however much we're on now of investment, not good enough. We should be nowhere near that zone when you think of the money we're being plundered into the club, which I think is what's happening. I think we've had a season with Rafa Benitez in charge. No one wanted him. He's put us in this mess. Farhad Majiri stuck with him through months that he shouldn't have. We're now in this mess, and I think it's all boiling over, and it's coming quite. The bottle throwing, I'm really disappointed to see that. But again, another product, the pitch invasions before Benitez was sacked, a product of frustration.
Yeah,
and even the sit-in, which I agree with, is a boil over of frustration. It's just that's the correct way to show your frustration, is protesting in that way, not lobbing projectiles at people. I just think that all of it is just boiling over to quite quite a nasty thing. But I will say this: I don't think Dunk will be in charge. I think they're going to rush, and I think they're going to appoint somebody in the week that we have off. I think they're going to rush to it.
I think that's where it could become a problem. I don't know. Like, listen, me saying we're not going to get relegated. Listen, I might look like a tit at the end of the season. I'm the first person to put my hands up and admit that. But at the same time, I think I just don't know. Maybe it is naivety to look at it and go, we shouldn't go down with what we've got. But at the same time, I think I'm going to stick with the faith in the team that will stay up. And it's like Goodison Blues puts here. I think it is minuscule margins that are punishing us, and I think it's stuff that needs to be fixed, because if you can whip a ball in and then get it to the smallest player in the pitch and they can score a header, then it is an issue. And I think what needs to happen now is I think they need to take advantage of this time we've got to check the squad out full on. I know some of them will go on to play some international games, but I think it depends who's playing. I'm not very sure. To examine the squad, look at the changes we can make. We've still got 9 days left, and I understand we don't have much money, but looking at loans and looking at players who maybe can make a bit of an impact is just it's necessary, isn't it? Because especially someone who can thread in that final ball, because I don't know what people in chat think. I don't know what you think, Connor, but I think that looked like one of the big problems is that the midfielders couldn't find that final ball, and I just think that's something that punished us massively throughout that game. I think DCL, people putting it, I think he does look a step behind, to be honest with you. I'd still rather him than Rondon, to be completely honest with you, but that's obvious. Yeah. But I think it might be an idea to keep assessing DCL, and maybe it is the fact that he isn't ready for football yet, or that it was a one-season wonder. But I don't want to give up on a player after a long-term injury. I think the best approach
with him.
I think the best approach is to stay positive about, well, not even positive, but not to just doom and gloom and say we're going to get relegated, because I understand it. Me saying I don't think we're going to get relegated isn't me disagreeing with anyone or saying, no, we're definitely not going to get relegated. But I think the best course of action is to stay behind the team and hope Goodison as an atmosphere can stay like how it was today. because you can tell it fired certain players up. Players like Gordon, who, a lot of people probably will look at and say, he's one of the only sparks of our team. I think Semi's right. He has to play every game. I think with the Townsend stuff now, Townsend's becoming being a bit predictable. Sorry, it's get it on his left foot, cross, do about 14 Cruyff turns, and it's
I think if you're gonna play a 4-4-2 with wing play, I stick by this. You can't have inverted wingers because it's very easy to see what they're going to do. Gordon, when he came on, it was the one with a 1-2 with Richarlison where DCL had stretched and got a foot to it but didn't go in. That's what you get when you have a natural footed player on the side that they are. Quick and easy, cross it in, no hard, nothing to think about really, just hit it in. And DCL could have scored. But I agree with you. I think there's positives. Like this Villa team, they're technical, and we brought the fight. First half wasn't very good in terms of going forward. We didn't have a shot, and the ball was being punted up. We needed to just calm. We were great off the ball. Intensity was there. The closing down was there. The fight was there. But we sort of brought that intensity when we had the ball. And I think we were just too frantic on the ball. It was, Holgate was trying to play 30 yarders that I don't think he's got in his locker.
Mason Holgate's one where I don't know why he thought he was Paul Scholes.
No,
I understand that the point was to get it out to the wing because they played a narrow formation and it was to get down the wings. But at the same time, punting 30 yarders it isn't going to work. And I do think that we have to bring some people in. I think, if we don't sign anyone, that may change my opinion, and I may think, we're in real trouble today. Real trouble, because I think, and this might just be me hoping, and I might be wrong, but I think we will get results out of Newcastle and Burnley, 2 teams below us. We need to. It's vital. If we don't, then that's it. Then we might be one of the favourites for relegation if we don't get results out of both of those games.
Yeah.
I
think we need to play the ball on the ground. I agree with you. We need that finishing deadly ball, but we need to learn to play the ball on the ground a little bit better. I will just say FGA football, saying let's play Gomez, great idea. You're old naive. I don't think me or Cal have said let's play Gomez.
No.
I just said that Gomez had a bad game.
Me and James said before the game that Gomez should play because what better option do we have? Gabami and Onyango looked decent.
Yeah, Onyango did. He looked good.
You have to understand why he did it. And I think he said something else stupid like, yous are too young to understand. It just sounds like like a 45-year-old man who's trying to relive his childhood. He's just saying when, because if you want to go off that logic, mate, isn't there like a football manager right now who's about 30, about to lead Bayern Munich to the Bundesliga and possibly the Champions League? So because he's younger than you, you know more about it. It's stupid. Listen, I understand his point is that, he wants to come in the chat and be an arsehole because Gomez had a bad game. But at the same time, we were wrong. Gomez didn't have a good game. Onyango might have actually been the better idea to start. But as we said, if you also listened, was that trust Duncan Ferguson's decision-making. And Gomez did work hard. The quality wasn't there. Yeah, I can agree with you. They should have been a lot better. But at the same time, I just think I understand why he also did play Gomez, because in the end, Gomez would have played no matter what, whether that was off the bench or thingy, because I don't think Onyango would have been able to do 90 minutes, to be completely honest with you.
I think if Alan was fit, he'd have gone with Alan in the core, which is probably the more 100%. Sensible option. I was impressed with Onyango, though. I don't know how tall he is, but he's a big lad. He's got very long legs.
Yeah, he looked massive, and he did play.
He looked huge.
He played a tackle on, I think it was, I'm not going to attempt to say the Villa lad's name. The young Villa lad.
The young lad, yeah, I know the one. I don't know his name. It's quite hard to pronounce, but.
While we're talking about this, Connor, Nozza puts it here. He puts everyone has an opinion. It should be respected no matter what age. It's simple as that. That's like we said. No one's disagreeing with you. I'm not even gonna attempt to remember his name because I'm just not. I'm not even giving the guy the justice of it. But everyone has an opinion. And listen, if someone like, for example, Peter here puts, we have favourites to go down, lads. No if buts or maybes. Yeah, I'm not saying he's wrong because I have a different opinion. you can understand why people are thinking we are favourites to go down. The form table, the lack of quality in creating chances, it's understandable why people would think that. But at the same time, you also have to understand that there are reasons why other people may think differently. And, Flash puts here, Onyango put it about. I do think Onyango might get given a chance now if Dunk stays as the manager. I think he did a lot of good stuff. I don't think he didn't touch the ball much, but I think when he did touch the ball,
Yeah,
it was a bit iffy, but off the ball, he looks like a really good player, and he looks like a player who can be molded to a really solid player. I think, Jamie puts here huge improvement today over the last few months. He had 4 days and he's got them fighting again. You know what I mean? That sums it up perfectly. I'm not even gonna try to improve how he said that. He's got the boys fighting after 4 days. And Flash puts, who isn't panicking? I am. You know what? Deep down, I probably am panicking, and it might be after the live stream, it all comes out, and I'm like, crap, here we go. Oh no. But I'm trying to stay positive until at least after the Newcastle game. If we don't get something out of that, then there may be a live stream where everyone's coming on and saying that's it. Championship football, let's go. And I think until then, I don't think. I'm trying not to basically make Everton ruin my days. The sum up of it. I just don't really think there's a point in it.
If we lose to them, they go 4 points behind us, which is nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, exactly. 4 points. Then that's panic
stations. Yeah.
But now I think we won't play again until after the deadline day. 5th of It's in February, isn't it? Midweek February.
I think we've got the internationals now.
Until then, let's chill out a little bit. Let's go. Let's see what happens in the transfer market. Let's see what we do to change this, this losing atmosphere around the club. And then after that, that's when maybe we can start to talk about things because, I don't know. Listen, you lot can disagree with me, but I just don't see the point in panicking and stressing yourself out over this until the signs are blatantly obvious. That might be naivety, and I can accept that completely. But until then, until we drop points to one of the teams below us again, then that's it. Like Semi puts, I'm confident in Dunk. I believe he showed a bit of naivety in the game, and I think the first half kind of showed that. But I also do think in the second half we showed real improvement, and I think the lads clearly do want to play and get results for Dunk. So I think in a relegation fight, whichever team has the most passion is usually the team that stays up, and I think that has to be us. And if it isn't us, then yeah, we probably will. We might end up finishing 17th, even possibly in relegation. So I just think it is about trying not to just panic over something. I just think that's the message, really.
Yeah, I think we've got to watch Burnley as well because they're dead bottom of 11, but they've got 3 games in hand. I'm not saying they'll win every game, but if they do, they leapfrog us. So we've got to be careful. I think I can understand why people. I'm personally, I'm a bit nervous. I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm going to wait till Newcastle before I go full meltdown. A full meltdown. My life's over. Everton might get relegated, but I completely understand the panic stations because there are a couple of teams below us that could, more than anything, more than worried. I'm just frustrated because we shouldn't be there.
I just think it's, if I can say this about the panic stations, it's the abuse towards other fans for not sharing your opinions. Like, we all support the same football team. We all want the same results. I just think it's completely unnecessary. And I think honestly, the people who do it, you make yourself look like a tit because we all support the same team. We all want the same thing. So just going in and abusing someone for not agreeing with you, you just look like an idiot. And, I think, like, for example, a lot of the people in the chat here are saying, I'm panicking, this and that, but they are also respectful of other people's opinions. I just think it's important to stress that. And I think it's important to understand that people don't have to share your opinion. But in the end, we're all one football club. We're all one family. We need to be on the same page if we want to survive. If we're not on the same page, we won't survive, and that's my honest opinion.
Well, yeah. I mean, we need to sort of stay united. Semi Chard's on the edge. He's on the ledge. It has to be talked off it. Yeah, I mean, I agree. There was some positive. The second half, we not only created more chances, but they didn't really have a whiff. It is a sucker punch that, their goal comes from one of the smallest lads on the field, a set piece goal put in by Luca Dean, who had a good game defensively, I thought, as well as the assist. I thought he handled a couple of problems quite well. It was just, it's a sucker punch, but there were some good signs there. The team actually looked like they wanted to play for once, which was nice. I am trying to get through some of your comments. They're coming in a bit thick and fast, so I'm trying my best to scroll down. But yeah, I mean, this week I would say is going to be a big week in terms of Everton news. I think I will put this. Faz has put that about the referee, and someone else did, and Faz has mentioned the exact same thing that I had an issue with. I didn't think the referee was very good. I know it's
And
some people
none of
like
them are though. That's the problem.
no,
I think the thing is going into a game complaining about the referee in the Premier League. There's no point because they're all shite. Every single one of them does not know. And I'm not claiming I'd do better, but they fall under pressure from teams, managers, players, and they just can't hack it. They don't have the personality not even the personality. They don't have the grit to just stand there and stand their ground. And I think Matty Cash should have definitely been booked earlier.
yeah, that's what Faz has put. He's committed 5 fouls.
I think Mings got away with a lot, but
Yeah,
I also
Mings
think
did as well.
I don't know what it was. I think he was trying to let it get away with let the play go on and let the game, because what people were saying is it seemed like the commentators were saying it feels like a semi-final, and I agreed with that. The
Yeah,
referee was letting a bit more go, but when they let a bit more go towards the other team, the frustration's understandable. I think,
it was booking Alan for complaining, even though we had the advantage and he stopped it. And then when Alan complains, he gave him a yellow.
They've all
That
got
for me,
egos, don't they? If you
yeah,
question the mighty referee's ego and their ability to do their job, they cower up and don't know how to react. So they just yellow card. And Faz put here. I think this is interesting because I think we've got to talk about Digne. Digne played better than I've seen him play in years. So much for in love with the club. I think what it is, Faz, is I don't think it's that because he wasn't going to perform less because he was playing against us. I think what the thing was, he was given the freedom to go forward in a team that pushes players forward. And to put it simply, Digne was playing in a team that suited his strengths and he performed. I think Anthony Gordon had him on strings, and I was, winding my Villa mate up by saying that. But I think Digne played well, and I think it shows the mistakes Rafa made, doesn't it? And I think that performance from Digne kind of puts, a footnote on why Rafa was just a cancer to this club, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did play. It was quite tough to watch Dean play a really good game. I was hoping he'd have an awful game, but it sucks. I will say this, Blues, if you could just like the stream while we're on as well, it would be massively appreciated for all of us here on the channel. So if you could just like the stream, that'd be massively appreciated. But yeah, I agree. I think it's just tough, isn't it, that he played that. A couple of people are saying maybe El Ghazi could come in and improve. I think. Depending on the side we put him on, I think so.
I think, because I think El Ghazi has that bit of quality. He'd be a bench player, but El Ghazi has that quality where he did it against us. He can just change a game like that. And I think having that off the bench is vital because I don't see Townsend starting anymore. I just can't. I can't justify it, to be honest with you, when Gordon, in my opinion, is already just a much better player.
And you're not going to take Gray out for him.
No, Gray and Gordon, if you're going to do 4-4-2 your choice, and then have El Ghazi. To be honest, I'd rather have El Ghazi as the backup for one of them than Townsend. No, I like Townsend. I think he's been good when he's been charged with it, but I also think El Ghazi just offers more burst than someone like Townsend gives. Townsend is a player I like, and I think he's the sort of player I like because he gives his all. I think you can tell, but I think his game's very limited and it only suits to playing against a specific type of team. So I think his role as a bench player even or a player that, teaches Gordon, like a mentor sort of player. I think he has a place in this club, but I don't think that place is starting for us.
No, I think when we signed him, I said on the channel, I was like, he would be. I know it got quite negative, and I was a bit like, oh, brilliant. But I think I said if he was a backup, that's fine. If he's the only winger we sign, I'll be devastated. I'll be disappointed. He ended up being the only winger we signed, and starting under Benitez, which I was a bit disappointed about. But now that you've got Gordon that's come into it, I'm happy with him being a bit part player. You bring him on if Gordon looks tired or Gray looks tired, because surely he can play out on the left if he's left-footed. That I'm perfectly happy with. I think the days of Andros Townsend being a Premier League club of what we want our club to be anyway, not where we are, but where we want our club to be, is over. I think at a level of this club, he can do a bit part. I think maybe at a club like Burnley, he'd probably get more game time. But I think his days of being a full Premier League starter are probably slightly behind him. The way Gordon's come in, Gray and Gordon have both been really probably of positive lights in this season. And Gordon impressed me again.
My best player.
Just his speed. It's his crossing. His crossing was really good today. I can't believe we didn't get a goal.
For me, it was those passes to Gray, because there is, for a professional football, he should be able to make that pass, but it's like for us, seeing how effortlessly he did it and how it would always find Amari Gray. The guy is genuinely might be one of the best young players we've produced since Wayne Rooney. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's going to be better for us than Barkley was, because, it's a bit of a risky statement because Barkley was good for us, but this kid just looks like the real deal, in my opinion. And that might be because of how much crap's around him, but he just looks like the real deal. He looks like he can do everything you want a winger to do in the modern day, in my opinion.
I always avoid using the words young up-and-coming Everton player and Wayne Rooney together, because I think the bar's too... We did this with Barkley. I saw the Barkley comparison. Yeah, that's fine.
Since Wayne Rooney.
I was going to say,
he's going to be as good as Wayne Rooney before anyone...
I remember when Barkley came through, the media were making out like he might be the next Wayne Rooney, and it was like...
When he was an attacking midfielder and Rooney was a striker.
Yeah, well, the media, young
Scouser,
an Everton squad.
If we say Gordon's going to be the best academy player since Wayne Rooney, that instantly, in some people's mind, thinks we're comparing him to Wayne Rooney when we're not. It just means that he's a good player. But
I think in the crop of, especially the ones that did well, the under-21s, like the crop that went to Toulouse, you're thinking the likes of who was in that, Tom Davis, John Joe Kenny, Mason Holgate was in there at one point, Kieran Dowell. I think he's better than the ones I've just mentioned.
He's miles better than all of them. Because the thing is, this is his first full season as a consistent starter in and around the squad, and he's one of the best players already. Holgate is very error prone and rash. John Joe Kenny is a bit part player. He's a squad player at best.
He'd be all right as squad rotation.
Kieran Dowell's a good championship player, but I don't know about Premier League. I think Rooney was one of the best ever. Can't compare. Exactly, that's it, Nicholas.
Yeah.
But that's the point, is no one's comparing anyone to Rooney. They're saying it's the best we've had since.
So
it's comparing everyone after Rooney. Not Rooney is the sort of idea.
Because that bar's way. He's one of the best.
We'll never produce a player like that again, in my opinion.
Yeah, the bar's way too high there. He's an all-time United's top goal scorer. The bar's
he's got a case for being one of the best players. Well, he is one of the best players to ever play in the Premier League.
Yeah, he's certainly up there in the top 5 best English, probably 3, I'd say, English footballers.
For best English footballers ever, or in the Premier League era?
I would go ever. He's in the top 5.
I think ever he's in the top 3.
No, he's incredibly good. So the bar's, unreal. Nicholas has put, we need a Reedy type player. You know what? I agree. Yeah, I think we could do with someone who, I thought we got that in Alan, and I think there's parts of him, but I think he looks very tired sometimes. I think, but he came on today and did a really good job, Alan. But I think he's right. We need like a midfield. To be fair, I think we need to pack out the midfield a little bit better as well. I think we're looking for a player who can do the leg work in a 2 and that would be a hard player to find. Maybe Zakaria, who's apparently going on a free this
I just
season.
don't
Maybe
see it. Because Zakaria, the type of contract it is, would be if we wanted him, if we're getting him, what we'd have to do is pay them some money now and say, listen, get him out of our hands now. I think Zakaria is a very good player. Noza puts Basuma here. I think the problem with Basuma is the rumours around him and the price as well. Brighton's price still hasn't dropped on him, even after all the controversy. So I just don't see that. And I think it is going to... The problem is this team needs time to blend under Dunk. But someone put it in the chat, time is something we don't have.
No.
This is the problem. And, I think it is just something we need to just look at and go, we basically need to try get something as quickly as possible.
Yeah, Ian's put here, we're desperate for, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. We are desperate for a proper playmaker that splits the lines. And that's what you were saying. We need that killer ball. Somebody who, like a James Rodriguez, when he was fit last season, those killer balls that he was playing in that just cut the defensive line that Richarlison or Dominic Calvert-Lewin could run onto. I think obviously Calvert-Lewin, I don't want to write him off. I think he's a bit unfit yet. I don't think he's fully at his best pace and fitness, because there were a couple of times where I thought that one on Mings where he slides in to get a throw in. I think last season, if fully fit, he beats Mings to the race. Or certainly gets close enough.
Injury, isn't it? It's like, I didn't realize it was that long until they put it in context. But I think it's just it's difficult, and I think there's a lot about this game that you can take, but then there's negatives too. It's a two-sided coin.
Need sorting drastically.
What about that?
The set pieces are one of the negatives that need to be improved drastically.
I just think the atmosphere of the club as well, because it's just throwing bottles at Digne, it just doesn't work. I think it's come up now in the chat, and I think some Villa fans trying to get attention in the chat. But I think throwing bottles at Digne, it's not going to help, is it? We established this early. You just make everyone look bad, and then it just gives the club a negative atmosphere. It's unnecessary. And that, because I don't think Digne ran over to the Everton fans to celebrate in front of them on purpose. If he did, fair play to the fella, but trying to bounce a Lucas head bottle off his head is just going to make you look like an idiot. So it's just, I can't see it happening again. I think that was just a one-time situation. So I think, it just needs to be something that... But the atmosphere in Goodison sounded a lot better tonight. It sounded...
Yeah.
It was bouncing at points. It sounded like people were really happy to be there. And I think, especially in that second half, I think it showed that we can claw ourselves into games. It is just... That number 10, I think it's vital. That number 10 is... We have to. Or I really could... Then the negativity might start to creep in a bit, and the fear of relegation if we don't get a real playmaker who can thread that final ball in that we need.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've just seen the Villa fan. He's being blocked and timed out because he can't behave himself. You know what I mean?
It's isn't it?
It's free. It's 12 minutes past 3 on a Saturday. Have you really got nothing else to be doing?
Of course he doesn't. He probably does it. He'll be the sort of fella who just Googles, fan reactions after his game and goes in chat and thinks anyone gives a flying about his opinion.
He wants to try kissing a girl, doesn't he? Really? But
I don't think it's that.
I think that people are saying here, looking through some of the comments, people are happy with Gordon. The one thing I'm seeing people, and I want to know why, is no Patterson and Mykolenko. Apparently, I know Mykolenko didn't have the greatest game against Norwich, and he's going to struggle to get up to speed. When we did an interview with Zora Londesk, they said he's going to struggle. It's not the Ukrainian league anymore. He's in the best team in the Ukrainian league. A lot of teams sit back. He's going to struggle with the physicality of the Prem. And then you've got Patterson as well. I'd like to see Patterson play. I'd really like to see what he's about. From what I'd read from the sparse games he did play for Rangers, sounds quite quite a player.
And he played big games for Rangers as well. I think he mainly played European games, and he even played. I think he played a few old firms as well. So
We've seen,
the guy knows how to play a big game, and I think Dunk will be a fan of him. You know, the Rangers connections. So, and I
yeah,
think I do kind of understand why he didn't play against Villa, because I think if anyone knows how to figure out Patterson's weaknesses,
that's
it's
probably going to be
his old
Steven
manager.
Gerrard, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's understandable, and I think in the end, we need to the brunt of it is we need to sort something out while we've got time now. We need to come up with a philosophy of what we're doing and what we're going to do to survive relegation over this next, is it 2 weeks? We've got just around 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
So I think we have to do that, and I think the main thing of doing that is getting a manager. Darren put, who would you get in as manager at the moment? Dunk or Rooney? I think
Well, that's the $1 million question, is it? I'm glad the Fabio Cannavaro rumours were very much killed in the water. I think was it Joyce? It might have shot them down, or the Athletic shot them down pretty quickly. That was a scary point where I get that Fabio Cannavaro is a huge name in football as a player, as a manager.
He's not done it in Europe yet, and I understand.
He's only done it
People are
in
saying
China, really.
Take a risk. Look at Moyes. The risk of Moyes was the Championship, not the Chinese league.
Oh no, and Cannavaro, when we did a poll, was very much a no.
Yeah, 100%.
Like very much. I mean, it's scary he's even in contention. I thought when we were in this big Hollywood name, we were on about managers. I didn't think we meant now that just good, once time good players were sort of linked with it as well. Otherwise, Mashiri might be ringing up Alan Shearer next, asking if he fancies it. I do wonder who will go for. Apparently, it looks like it'll be Lampard or Rooney.
I think it'll be Rooney.
Lampard seems to split the fan base. Rooney, a lot of people like. The only thing I'd say about Wayne Rooney is that it's a gamble, as is anything we do right now. Look at the candidates; they're all gambles. And even you could have Pep Guardiola could be a gamble. Every manager's a gamble. It's just picking out a safe gamble. The only thing with Rooney is I'd have liked him to get a bit more experience, because this job will come around again. And if he's the manager that people think he'll be, he will get linked with this job again. And that, 4 years down the line, 2 years down the line, he'll get the opportunity then. If he does it now and it doesn't go so well and he's sacked, I think that is one go done.
I don't know. I think because what the thing is now is, what other choice do we have right now? We're in a desperate. If we were 12th, I'd be like, no, let him stay in, because there's also the chance that he isn't going to have a job in a week's time. If Derby don't get the thing sorted by the 30th or by the end of this month, I think that's it. That's liquidation. So I think there is someone rumored with buying the club.
It's Mike Ashley, isn't it?
No, American company now. I think
Mike Ashley was linked for a while, which stabilised them. I don't know if he'd have took them the next level, but he'd have stabilised them.
Yeah, because Nozza puts it here: leave Dunk in charge till the end of the season. If we go outside the club, Graham Potter would be magic. I want Graham Potter, but I think that's done now.
I don't think Potter's going to come. I think in that interview he basically said everything that he had that he wouldn't have here, sort of thing. He said he's got a great team.
We'd basically have to interview him and go, what do you want? Right, you want this, and this. Then we'd have to provide him with that. And then if he does crap, sack him, sack everything he brought with him. And then he's a good manager, he's a really good manager. But I think it would be a thing where we'd have to offer him so much, and I think he'd ask for a lot of money as well to leave the stability that Brighton offers him.
Yeah, I think Kovac. I mean, I like the look of that, but I don't think that's. I'd happily give it Dunk if we're going to get Kovac in the summer. I also think if you do that, because realistically, the ones linked. I mean, we could all name names we'd like, but realistically, the names we're being linked with aren't very good. Anyone's a gamble, whether it's Rooney or Duncan Ferguson. They're both a gamble. At least if you wait till the summer, my theory is that people will get sacked. And just naturally, people who don't.
Will we be in the Premier League?
Well, yeah, that's sort of the predicament we've put ourselves
Because
in now.
I think we can still attract a big name manager in the summer, even if we finish 17th, because the FFP cycle resets. We can spend money. I know that's not always a good thing with this club because we always seem to spend it. But if you offer a manager a lot of money and a lot of exposure and the possibility to do well at Everton, a club that gets a lot of media attention, then I think people will still take it. Maybe not someone like Graham Potter because I think Graham Potter gets enough attention as it is.
I think you've got to go for another league.
You've got to
Like,
go for a top manager in another league who'd really take the exposure. But
yeah,
I think unless we can steal someone like Brendan Rodgers, Graham Potter, Patrick Vieira, uh, managers like that, managers
Vieira
with
seems to have impressed quite a lot of people recently. I've seen a couple of shots for Patrick Vieira.
Patrick Vieira is really good, I think. But the thing is, Patrick Vieira has been a coach and a manager for a long time now. Just people haven't realised. I think you look at a lot of people look at Vieira as a new manager in this new mold, and they
I think
compare
it's
him to
because
Gerrard.
he had a
Vieira's
stinking
been
youth,
around
didn't he?
managing for a long, long time, and I think that's why he's come in and handled the situation as well as he have with Palace, and has got the best out of players like Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, I think problem with Vieira is he did have a bad stinker at Nice, and that sort of goes on on your record,
I
sort of
don't know
thing.
because
He's
it's
trying to
either
fix it. Like, he's fixing it now, like, but
it's what I mean. He got European football and then just had a bad season the season after. It's like so it
uh,
kind of balances each other out.
but I do agree that if realistically we might be more appealing to somebody who's in like say now the French, Spanish, Italian, or other leagues other than the top five in Europe. Obviously, the further the leagues you go, though, the less competitive they are to the Premier League, so then the jump's bigger. But I think that might be our way forward. Depending on where we finish, obviously, because it's a great way to make your name for yourself. If you can turn Everton around, that's a great thing to have on you. I obviously just point out Mosbro's put someone said Mikolenko had COVID. I thought that as well. I heard that rumor, but he was pictured on not on the bench, but he was pictured with the lads.
And didn't he just get a haircut
Goodison.
recently or something like that?
I
He
thought
can't
he
have
had a
COVID.
great.
I don't have a clue. I saw it on
Oh
Twitter.
yeah, he did. Yeah, I've seen the picture. Although he had a grade, I don't know what he had cooks. He seems to have a grade one everywhere. So
he's got the Ukrainian special.
yeah, it's a grade one all over. That is his mum could do that in lockdown, I think, with razors. But I don't think he has got COVID. I think he was just dropped. Which
he might just not be ready yet. The kid's young. He's still got a chance to improve. That's I'm not going to call him up as a flop. The guy needs to get used to the competition level. It might be an FA Cup thing. Might play against Brentford. And I think Godfrey did a decent job at left back. I don't think we're desperate for a new left back. I think it is a situation where next season we'll have Nkunku and we'll have Michaelenko, and I think Nkunku's good, and I think Michaelenko
very different players as well, aren't they?
I think Michaelenko just needs to adapt because I think he's already got the physical side of it down.
Yeah. Apparently he's really good at ball retention and defending.
The guy can handle himself. He's shown it. I think it's just about getting used to the speed and the technicality, because he's played in the Champions League. So the guy knows how to play against quality, but now it's consistently playing against that quality.
I think he'll come good. I think that, like we said, that Zora Londesk, that they're Ukrainian football journalists based in London. They've actually been travelling to see Everton a couple of times. They came to today's game and obviously didn't play, which was a bit gutting for them. But they did a video with us. I spoke to the lad from it. He did say this. He said Mikolenko's a really good player, but he will take some time to get used to the Premier League. Exactly, and they'd had a winter break before he signed with us, so that doesn't help either, does it? Having long breaks like that away from football. So we'll have to wait and see how he develops. I've got potential for him though, and like you said, we've got Nkunku coming back, who's already said he's happy to play as a part-time player as long as he gets the chance to improve. Which again would be brilliant. I think those two would be a really good left back switch for us. In the harder games where you need a little bit more ball retention, go with him. When you need somebody to go flying, and Nkunku.
Exactly. I think the main goal now is survival, and then I'm not asked about where we finish as long as we survive. If we finish 17th and survive at that point, I don't care. Nigel put here, not sure Potter would leave Brighton for relegation fight. You bang on, mate. If we got Potter, it would be in the summer, and we would have to offer him some serious price. I think we'd have to offer him at minimum £150 million in that summer just to
Yeah,
convince him. And I think a lot of that would revolve around bringing some of the Brighton players over. I think under Potter we'd do really well. I think we would, but I think that's something I wouldn't really worry about. I wouldn't think about Graham Potter until a big name says something about Graham Potter. One of the big Everton journalists, whoever you guys follow, that's
right.
your choice.
What you meant that in the world of football? I was going to say Pep quite likes him. Pep gave him a thingy before his sign of approval.
Pep gave him thumbs up, offer him
Yeah,
£200,000 a week. No, I just think I don't see it being. No, I don't think we can get him in now. If we can, go for it. Throw everything at the wall if you can do it. But I don't think the club will try it. I wouldn't be.
I don't think he comes.
No, not now.
Yeah, it sucks to say, but I don't think he comes because they're ninth in the Premier League.
I think he wants to finish and see if he can do something really special with Brighton, and then he may. For example, if they finish 7th, he stays because why would he not?
That'd be a great achievement.
If they drop off massively, which is what I expect, to be completely honest with you, who do you appoint? 1 second. Then I could see us getting him. Who do you appoint now? Go get Sean Dyche. I think that's another one. I think it'd be summer. I think Dyche doesn't seem like the sort of man who just give up on Burnley.
No, I think he relishes the fight that they're in and will want to see that out.
I'd give Dyche the opportunity because you can't. Because people complain about the style of football, but what else are you going to play with that Burnley squad?
He'll stabilise the club as well. I know a couple of lads on the channel is quite a big fan. Owen's quite a big fan, and I think he got Terry and James to also, alongside. I quite like, he'd stabilise the club. He's very much me and James Toyne. He's very much got a Moyes-esque build about him, sort of thing. I don't think it'd be the worst appointment in the world.
No, not at all.
We've been linked with a lot worse in the last week or so. Kieran from Kieran Rants agrees with you. Said we won't get relegated. Don't worry. It's nice to see Kieran again.
Does he have a TikTok by any chance?
Yes, it is Kieran from TikTok. Yeah.
Thought so. Why does that name sound familiar?
Yeah, I can see a lot of people say, saying this. I will say this. This Villa. Someone's put here. Miko also needs to learn English,
100%.
which is and that's a tough one if you don't speak English. And then on top of that, I don't want to, but Duncan Ferguson's quite a hard man to understand at the best of times sometimes. So I imagine for Mikolenko, it's really tough.
To his shouts. I loved listening to him. Where you date microphone, pick him up.
Yeah, he was very vocal, wasn't he? I love the ones where he does. He spoke to Mike, Dull Mike from Twitter, and he's got the football tops in the back of the boot for Mike, and he's yelling. No, I think the fella just shouts all the time. I don't think he's got an inside voice.
No, I don't think he does.
But it was nice to see a manager a lot more animated as well today. He was shouting, he was up, he was pointing. It was nice to see a manager that even when we were losing was up and not just sat there with a little notepad, drawing or writing little notes and didn't look that interested. At least he was up and shouting. Not saying Benitez never shouted, but Duncan Ferguson's shouts were a lot easier to hear over the cameras and stuff. Which was good. They've got a couple of people here who are, fans of Dyche. Big Nos has put Dyche is a no. Oh no, he's not a fan. Someone's put Big Sam for me. I don't.
Not again.
No. Please no. Nos has put that we're a better club than Sean Dyche.
Are we though? History-wise, yeah, but
yeah, history-wise. Paul Merson's put. Oh, I'm going to read this before I read it out.
No, it's fine. That the top one.
All right. Yeah, Paul Merson, Villa Legends put, hope the Everton fans enjoyed the game as much as Villa fans did. Everton are a great club with great support. Unfortunately, that idiot supports Everton. Gerrard. All right, yeah. Yeah, no, see, that's perfectly fine. Stuff like that from Villa fans is fine.
Even the comment underneath it, it's a bit, it's a bit of banter, isn't it? The guy's having a laugh. It's just when he's coming and being an idiot, isn't it? Like those two lads are just coming in and having a bit of a laugh, aren't they? That's fine, but
the Championship's one of them. I really, I'm not
if we go down, we're doing the Sunderland. If we go down, it's the Sunderland.
Someone's just put that. It's a tough. it's tough to get out of, isn't it? It's a really competitive
I
league.
think it's tough to get out of when you're in a situation like us. For example, Norwich are always prepared to bounce straight back up. Us, the amount of wages we pay, we go down at Championship and FFP would instantly slap us with a minus 12-point deduction.
We'd have to loan the Norwich did it, didn't they? When they went down, they had to
We'd
loan
have
a
to
lot.
sell everyone. Everyone would have to go.
Either that or loan deal them. It's the only way you can sort of cope with it, isn't it? Send them out on loan for wages, even then.
It's why I think the club will be desperate to stay up because, I think it is that idea of I think the most likely option is the Sunderland option where we just, Everton Till I Die comes on Netflix and we get relegated.
I don't know how we don't have it. Like Amazon are doing Arsenal, and don't get me wrong, that'll be a good watch because, they're as equal as, in terms of just the disaster. But I don't know how Amazon haven't made a show about us.
They're going to do it next season when we get in the Championship.
It seems like such not for us watching it, but like for outsiders, it'd be quality TV, wouldn't it?
Imagine Everton Twitter if there was an Everton Amazon documentary.
Oh, it'd be.
We'd see Alex Iwobi miss a pass in training, and it'd be World War III.
I watched the video actually on the Everton thingy. It was Godfrey, Begovic, and Iwobi playing against the handball team. They do their kits by Hummel. And Godfrey did all the actual kicking of the ball. Begovic did all the throwing of the ball for the handball challenges. Iwobi did very, very little actual football.
Sounds about right.
Which I was a bit like, I was a bit like,
sounds about right.
I was like, that's that. And then all the comments were like, have you noticed how Iwobi's not doing it? Blah, blah, blah. You notice how Iwobi's not kicking a ball, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh dear.
No, Villa Legend puts it again here, Connor. I'm not laughing at Everton, lad. You're a great club, and believe me, you don't want to be anywhere near that Championship. It's the hardest league to get out of. 3 years almost. Well, that's it, isn't it? And it's look at it. I know a few Villa fans, and they say to me, that playoff final against Derby, whoever lost that game, that was it. Villa fans were saying they'd be in the same situation Derby are now if they lost that game. You could say I'm wrong, but we're all up for a bit of banter, about the club. We do it ourselves. We take the mick out of stuff, but I think it's just when it gets to abuse when it becomes a problem.
The fella in before was just a weirdo.
Just a clown, wasn't it?
Big Nos just put, forget our history. We're still a big club. Just idiots running the club are ruining it for us.
But that's when it becomes a problem. Blackburn have won a Premier League, and then eventually it all fell apart for them because of ownership issues. A bad ownership can suck the life out of your club.
It can put it back like easily 3-4 years.
Put you back 3 clauses. Put Blackburn back. Well, Blackburn might get up this season now, but because Blackburn look really good now. But how long has it taken Blackburn to get to this point? Is an example after down.
I remember them being in the Prem when I was only like 8.
It's been around 10 years now, I think.
Yeah, I remember being in when I was like 8 or 9. So it's been a long, long time since we've seen them back in the Premier League. But I agree with Big Nos. I think stuff needs to change. Hopefully, the review they do, I have little faith in it though, unless it's done by an independent, because there's no point having somebody who is involved with the club looking at it going, I think
it will be, because you can't. The guy's just injected another 100 million in the club. Surely now he's realizing, right, that's it. He's got to realize his mistakes now, because the thing is. He's ruining the football club for us if he doesn't, and he's ruining his own financial stability by throwing loads of money away by getting relegated. So I hate that this is what it might take for him to finally pull his finger out, but he needs to pull his finger out. And the communication with the fans is at least a start. It's the first step on many steps required.
Yeah, the once a year sort of thing in the program thing, it needs to be better. He needs to, obviously he can look at the review of the club and he can do the whole thing. I'm not, opposed to him looking at everything from the minuscule bits that need improving all the way to the top bits. But one of the biggest things he needs to look at is the mirror, and not the paper, is in his own mirror and sort of have a good
look at the mirror. Don't look.
Yeah, not the paper. He just needs to look at himself though and ask himself a lot of tough questions. Like, is he making the right choices for the club? Should he be signing players over people's heads? Do we need a director of football or somebody with a footballing brain? Because stop listening to his super agent friends would be my best advice. Kia
Especially the one that got QPR relegated.
Kia Shubashan was at the game today. He was photoed at the game today.
Could someone not have launched the bottle of him instead?
Someone, I think it was Benji with Stanley on Twitter, put he was actually at the ground today, which is more than you see Majiri do.
But the thing is, him being there is not a good thing,
No, it's very much he's our director of football unofficially.
I swear the fellow isn't even the agent of any decent players anymore.
No, he was involved in the Mascherano-Tevez deal, wasn't he, a couple of years ago? That was a bit controversial as well.
I think that was like 17 years ago now.
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's like, James put here, he hasn't injected, sorry, James, to get to it so late. He hasn't injected another 100 mil. He's wrote off a loan. That's it, though, isn't it? He still spent 100 mil to write off that loan. So I think
he was never getting that back, I don't think, at the current state of affairs. So
no,
it's nice for him to write off money he wasn't going to get back.
Yeah, exactly. So he's just, if he wants to throw away 100 million and get us relegated, go for it, mate. But
Semi-charged, but it's a Toffee TV did say that, so it's nothing to get excited about. No, I mean, the communication's been a little bit better from the club, not just in Mashiri's statement, just in the general training, the videos coming out of training, Twitter, the media at the club are really putting it on there. I think it's damage control, because they know the damage that it's caused the last 4 months, having Rafa Benitez in charge, and the damage he's done to the club. So I think they're sort of trying to fill the gaps in a little bit. But I mean, in terms of the game, I don't know, it was just tough. I've got some stats up here for anyone who wants to relive the stats of today's game. But they're quite, I mean, if you want the good news, they look okay. I mean, we had more XG. We had 1.43 to Villa's 0.99, and at half time we had 0.
Yeah, that makes sense. We missed some sitters that game.
It's
the Mina header and the one where and the Gordon crossing to Calvert-Lewin after the two headers. I don't know what it is. Something happens. It comes out to Gordon. Gordon whips it in to Calvert-Lewin, I think. And there's one where Calvert-Lewin stretches out to get it, and the commentators go, "If that's Duncan Ferguson up front, that's a goal." I think it is. There's a few that you can pick off the top of your head and go, "We should have been finishing that, really."
Well, I was going to say 15 shots, 11 chances created, 1 big chance. Villa also had 1 big chance. Those chances created, that's a positive. But like we said, if with a clinical, maybe Dominic Calvert-Lewin into full, fitness would have been good. I will say this, though. The other one is 67% pass success to Villa's 71. Not a massive gap, but you could notice that Villa were holding the ball a little bit better than us. And to be fair to Villa, they had 16 fouls conceded, which would break up play. We had 14. It was that type of game, wasn't it, where neither team were going to hold the ball for very long. It was a bite about it.
I think the Newcastle game might show what we are on the ball a bit better, where we'll have more of the ball. But saying that, will we? Because it's an Eddie Howe side. So I think that's the turning point game for us. I think that's going to show us what we need to see.
I think we could catch them on the break.
Their centre back. The only problem is they're probably going to sign centre backs before that game. If you're giving me Lascelles and whoever plays next to him, I think we easily. But it depends if they can get like Diego Carlo or some players like Sven Botman in. Then we might be worried.
They might do. I don't think they'll get Diego Carlos. They're linked with Balotelli as well, aren't they? Who's not a centre back. I don't know what they're doing there. I think Newcastle are going to be the new Everton, where they spend money a bit daft for the first couple of seasons. And
but then to be fair, then knowing our luck, they'll actually hire someone who knows what they're doing, and then
I'm looking at some of our chances created now on the XG map, and a lot of them inside the area, just on the edge. I think I genuinely do believe. I mean, I know we should have picked up points today. At least a point would have been fair. I think if you'd shown me the first half stats, if I was reading them out now, I saw the first half stats, went to make a cup of tea, and I was like, I can't believe this. This is awful. Second half, though, looking at these now, that second half was really good. Whatever he did to change it, whatever he told the lads at half time, there was a fight back in it. We played with a lot more direct urgency. the one thing I would say is in the first half we could have done with keeping the ball a little bit better. We were giving away far too many silly passes that were being intercepted. Um, I'm glad it was only, the goal itself is a problem we know for ages. Our set pieces need to be assessed. They've not, and they were, Everton have always struggled with them. But we thought that, under Ancelotti, we'd sorted it out. We've reverted back to what we were like before Ancelotti, where they're a problem again. I think we just need to, if we sorted out set pieces realistically.
Well, the coach who knows what he's doing with them. Look at Davide, the guy knows what he's doing from set pieces, and all of a sudden it changed things.
Yeah, and there can't be that many, it can't be hard to find a set piece coach in this day and age.
Yeah.
Go on.
There'll be loads. There'll be thousands of them.
That's what I mean. Someone put here, thank God we avoided Martinez before. Apologies because I didn't catch the name of whoever put it, but I was looking at it before and I was thinking, have you seen the comments? I think it's from Leon Osman's autobiography where he said Martinez was just like, he didn't think set pieces were that important, so they didn't train them. And Callum McManaman was on a space the other day saying at Wigan he did. But like Leon Osman and a couple of others have said during his time at the club, set pieces weren't his priority. And all I could
probably
think,
didn't hire him then.
Yeah, I know, that's what I was thinking. I was like, could you imagine that wouldn't help anybody out doing that? So it was a really tough one to take. But
yeah, definitely.
That would have been a really, and fans were, he was about not as polarizing as Benitez, but he wasn't far off it, avoiding that. Thank God the Belgium FA as well, because I think if they hadn't said no, we'd have done that. We'd have. I don't know who. I think apparently it was Ken Wright that was pushing for him.
Ken Wright, it was 100% Ken Wright, because we finished 5th one season. Like I said, I'm not the biggest hater of Roberto Martinez, but after hearing that as well, and I just think in a relegation battle, Roberto Martinez isn't the guy you want.
No, and to be fair, I sort of didn't think Mashiri was going to go for him. He tried to take for what he was owed, but he tried to take the club's court for the 10 million compensation as well. It just all seemed really bizarre. But it adds to problems as well, though. Too many chefs spoil the broth. There's a lot of voices at Everton, a lot of vocal people up above, all singing off different hymn sheets. And I think that's one of the reasons we're in this mess as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And I've said this 100 times, especially now, though, and after watching, when you ask Everton fans what they want from their team, the style of play they think would suit Everton and the style of play they want, they're very similar styles. And every time this job comes available, we move further and further away from that style. Like, it might just be me and I might be completely wrong, but the feeling I get is that as Everton fans, we want high, pressing, we want intensity, we want fight, we want a bit of desire. We want not directness, but we want urge, intent, direct intent with the ball. We don't want it to be passed around the back for half an hour. We want it to be moved up the pitch quickly and in quality movement. And every time this manager's job comes available, there's managers linked that we're further and further away from that. And that alone, I mean, not saying the fans are, are qualified to make footballing decisions, but it doesn't seem that hard to grasp what fans want.
Yeah,
yet
100%.
The decisions being made are nowhere near it, which it blows my mind.
Yeah,
it really does. But yeah, so read a couple more of your comments. Paul Merson, Villa Legends, put as well the irony that the smallest player on the pitch wins the header, and he put Jacob Ramsey's fantastic. He's one of our own. I was quite impressed with Jacob Ramsey. I did quite like
Ramsey's unreal. Ramsey is a ridiculously good player.
Bar the fact that he probably should have got a yellow card in the first half, I was saying to my dad, I was watching Matty Cash and I was like, I can't tell, because I know he should have had a yellow card a couple of times now, but I was like, I can't tell, but I think he's also having quite a good game. There was a block he made. I think it was in the first half or early in the second. It was an incredibly good block. But there were a couple of Villa, I really like John McGinn. I was going to say I really like John McGinn.
Proper wind-up merchant as well.
Yeah, I think that might be a Scottish thing, because Andy Robertson's one of the same cut of the same cloth, isn't he?
Yeah.
Absolute pain in the backside. But Semi's put here, football's played on the pitch, not spreadsheets or football manager. I think that's in terms of the stats. I was just reading them out just to get a thing, but I do agree. I think if you're watching it though, I think, well, to be fair, I think you've got to do it both. I think you've got to listen to the stats and give it the eye test as well. But I think if you were watching it, there were positives to take. There were obviously negatives, one of them being the score and a set piece in the first half as a whole. But towards the end, there were some positive. I watched it and I was like, there are positives. There are positives to take. It's better than the last. It was better than watching the Norwich game.
Yeah,
I could
100%.
handle it. Even towards the end, that 5 extra minutes, I was like, I thought we could nick an equaliser. Flash the Originals put here. I told my dad about, but I think it's worth mentioning. Duncan Ferguson putting money behind the bars in a couple of the pubs. Apparently, it was in the Winslow and the Brick, for the fans to have their first drink.
Yeah,
Really classy move. Really, really classy move. The fella gets it, doesn't he? He gets it.
100%.
He gets what it means. It's great to see. It is great to see that, and it's a really classy gesture. Must have deep pockets for to buy everyone a pint. Bless him.
Be making a nice little wage as the manager now.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if he gets that. Whatever the manager bonus is, it's gone straight on the pubs around the Goodison Park. But no, it's a nice gesture by Duncan Ferguson, and I think that's what helps fans rally around as well. He's essentially a fan. He's a fan himself, essentially. Who loves the club. So, but yeah, I think overall though, I think we're probably going to cut it to a close. I'd just like to say, please like the stream, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I really appreciate you just hit that like button. Cal, I'd like to say thank you for coming on and talking to me, mate. Slightly disappointing, but I think we're both pretty optimistic. If we can play like that, we might steal something at Newcastle.
We've got to be, don't we? Because just getting all negative about it, it's just, especially when we do this and we have to talk to you guys, just being negative and moaning and complaining, it doesn't make it enjoyable to watch for you lot either, really.
No, and I think Newcastle, I don't rate Newcastle. So, hopefully we can get some there. It'd be nice to beat Eddie Howe as well for all the times he's been linked with our job. Sick of that. So it'd be nice to show him up and pull his
goal
pants
for
down
every time he's been linked.
And I'd really appreciate us pulling his pants down a bit and making him look a bit daft. But yeah, that is everything we've got time for, guys. Before you leave, please do like the stream. I really appreciate it, as does Cal and everyone else on the channel. Stay safe. I'll be back soon on the channel, as will Cal. And hopefully international break, a bit more clarity in the manager race.
100%.
See you soon.